Good evening and welcome to the big story on NDTV Profit. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. The price of gold has been touching all-time high levels on trot now. The rally in gold is driven by global uncertainty and market volatility. Geopolitical tensions have driven investors to seek safe haven in gold and silver. Silver, in fact, backed by this trend, has surged 48% in the past year. As the festive buying hits its peak now, the demand for these precious metals is expected to remain robust. On the show this evening, we examine what's driving this surge and to what levels will this continue. In fact, the three big questions that we are asking this evening are: question number one, what is driving gold and silver prices higher and how much higher can it go? Should you buy, sell or hold gold? And finally, is gold a better investment option than equity? And to answer these questions this evening, right ahead of you, all our viewers going for their festive shopping, is Mr. Rajiv Popli. He's the director of Popli Group. Ajay Kedia, he's a director with Kedia Advisory, and Surendra Mehta from he's the national secretary of the IBJA, or the Indian Bullion and Jewelers Association. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Popli, to you first. How's the demand been? Of course, we are seeing these all-time high prices, which we haven't really seen, on trot for so long, ever before. Are customers still coming in large numbers to buy gold as, the festive season reaches its peak? Mr. Popli, if you could just unmute your call.
Yeah, am I clear now?
Yeah, yes, please carry on.
So the Indian consumer is always robust with gold buying, no matter what the gold price be. In fact, when the gold prices increase, we've always seen a better consumer demand coming out on gold. We crossing now over 80,000 rupees in gold. The Indian consumer is happy about that for sure, because he's got much more at home than what he's buying. Keeping that in mind, the Indian demand is pretty high. Today being Guru Purusha Nakshatra, the demand has been consistently upwards. And with the weekend coming close, we are looking at a better Diwali takeoff this season for sure.
All right. Mr. Kedia, what's driving this rally? And, obviously there's a lot of geopolitics at play. There are other things, the fact that people are a bit jittery at this moment. There's volatility on the stock markets. But what do you think are these contributing factors? And the question that everybody wants to know is how higher can it go?
Very good evening, Nipur. Hey, I think this is not a story of 2024. This story has started a couple of years back. We have seen central bank continuously increasing their holding in gold. Geopolitical tension that has started from Russia, Ukraine, that is continued to still there. Israel, Iran is going on. De-dollarization, I think, is the major trigger. Because of that, central banks are continuously holding. Even in last couple of years, we have seen the ETF buying, particularly from Indian side. Up till now, we were consumer for gold and silver. We were never as an investor. But now, with the ongoing ETFs for gold and silver, people are now looking bullion as an investment avenue also. So I think with the given environment will continue in 2025. So I think still gold and silver prices are very cheap as compared to what up till now we have seen. Almost we have beat the equity returns. Today, if we calculate YTD since January till now, it is more than 22% return. So I think the perfect blend has been there: geopolitical tension, de-dollarization, ETF buying, everything has been supporting. So I think it's a better, and equity side also post-COVID, we have seen valuations up till now has been slightly higher. So people are now looking for an alternate to get a better return. So I think up till now, the rally has been in line what we were expecting, and still there is a scope for 2025. We can see another double-digit return both in gold and silver.
All right, so that's very optimistic. Mr. Mehta, what's your sense of what's happening? we do seem to be hitting highs in silver as well. In fact, silver has gone up about 48% this year. And gold, of course, has been going through the roof really. Today, of course, it touched 80K, came down a tad after that.
Well, see, we'll have to understand, as rightly said by Ajay Kedia, this rally started somewhere in 2020. And in 2020, during the epidemic time, the central bank and many HNI individuals realized that it is very necessary to have the portfolio of gold in their asset. So what is driving this demand is not only the geopolitical tension or central bank buying or ETF buying, but there is an uncertainty. There is an economic uncertainty as far as the US economy is concerned. There are elections in US, and nobody knows what will happen afterwards, after the election results are announced. What will happen to the 36 trillion debt of US? Now, that is the major reason why the entire economy of US is likely to get into the recession. Coupled with that, there is also a meeting held just recently of the BRICS nation. About 51 countries are interested to join together, and they are trying to form a new currency, and this currency could be backed by gold, though there are no final decision taken on gold backed currency. But definitely there is something going on as far as de-dollarization is concerned. So what happens if you wish to de-dollarize, then your foreign reserve will go haywire. So every country is trying to to strengthen their own currency, are trying to buy the gold, and that is why the gold prices are continuously going high. And this will remain the phenomena for the next 2 or 3 years. As of now, it looks that way. In my opinion, we can see about $3,250 gold, which is today about $2,750 in another 17 to 18 months' time.
All right, so you think the peak has not come yet. It could go up further still. Mr. Popley, there is a lot of emotional attachment that people have to gold. There is a connect that Indian families and households have to it. What's your experience been? Do people still hold it in perhaps higher esteem than compared to equities?
Yes, sure. Gold has been a sentimental purchase, an emotional purchase, a mythological requirement, and of course, an investment in bad times. So it's all put together as a one consolidated thing. Also, it's important that you can buy in a retail manner, smaller units. The lady of the house basically holds this investment of theirs for the family in total, and it's as liquid as can be down the line. So it's all in one as a product which is having many facets to itself. And of course, emotion is very, very important in this entire ballgame.
Right. Mr. Kedia, what's your advice to investors? Should they be booking profits and exiting? Should they be holding at this point in time? Should they be, in fact, buying more? Because all three of you seem to agree that this is going to only go up.
Yeah, I think Indian people not to thought about buying gold, because up till now we were only consuming gold. But now Indian people are aware that gold and silver can be invested, because when we have a mind of investment, we always look for a return. Since 2014, government has also look at this factor, and we have seen now the new avenues like ETF, bond, or we can say digital gold. Everything is been now coming out. So I think the consumption is still going on, and now people are looking for an investment avenue. So I think this is not a time to book a profit, because generally we see whenever there is a commodity rally, it long lasts for, let's say, 4 to 5 years. In 2008 also we have seen, when the global equity market has corrected, gold and silver prices started rallying from 2008 to 2011. So I think this is just a start. No doubt volatility has been quite high. Last year we were sitting around $18 and now $1,800. Now we are around, let's say, 28 nearby. So I think still the rally has been there for 2025. Maybe around $3,100 for gold. But silver, I'm more bullish if we talk about gold silver ratio, which suggests silver should outperform more. And already we have seen this year. So I think silver might test $40 mark by March 2025, because in last 10, 12 years, the scenario has totally changed for silver. Previously, we were using silver as a jewelry or investment avenue, but now it's an industrial consumption, or we can say clean energy has been in place. With the rise of solar, EVs, everything, silver consumption has been right. Up till now, economies were not talking particularly about China, but now every central banks are pushing economy on higher side. So with this, I am more bullish on silver rather than gold. Gold will also perform. We can see $3,100 in international, but silver $40 domestically. Rupee is also adding flavor for gold and silver rally. Where silver we are expecting around 1,30,000 by March 2025, whereas on gold we may see level like 84, 85. But volatility for next 6 months, 8 months is going to be very high on domestic market.
Also, Mr. Kedia, what's your advice to someone who's getting into this right now? What is the most effective way to hold gold? Should they look at ETF bonds? Should they look at stocks of gold manufacturing and mining companies, or silver in that sense? Or do you think physical gold of high purity still is a good bet?
Yeah, I think one have to understand what is the opportunity, or why he is buying. If he's a consumer, then definitely I would prefer to go with a physical buying gold jewelry or gold bar or coin, similarly for silver also. But if he's an investor, so I think there are many avenues now we are having, like gold bonds. We were already been there, gold ETF, silver ETF. But I think the mining companies are still not getting a charm in Indian market as of now. We do have a fund of fund in a mutual fund. But I think if you are an investor, I would prefer to go with the ETFs right now. But if you still love physical silver, you want that I should drink water in silver utensil, then I think physical silver is been must preferred if you are consuming silver.
Right. Mr. Mehta, what's your sense on that? Should investors be staying put, booking profits, moving on, buying more, investing more in this, both silver and gold?
Well, in my opinion, if an investor should really look at a long-term investment plan, and he should not try to buy at dip and try to sell at a higher price, then probably he may not be able to cover that up. I also feel that sovereign gold bond and ETF are one of the best investment options available today. But if you are a consumer, then go for jewelry, because by wearing jewelry, it becomes an investment also, and you can flaunt wearing jewelry also, and you can make your family also very happy.
All right, Mr. Popley, so are you seeing a lot of resale from consumers and customers, or do you see them holding on? What's the sense that you are getting in this festive season? Obviously, people, will still buy jewelry because it's a tradition to do it. But what's the word from the ground?
So there is some amount of recycling which happens in this period of time. When the rates are higher, it's always a difficult scenario to reinvest a higher amount in gold. So there is an area where consumers want to recycle material which is not utilized by them for many years. So they bring in old jewelry and try to upgrade it for higher and larger quantities. That also helps them in budgeting the situation better for the season. However, there is very less of actually only selling out on gold. So like you just said, there's nobody booking profits today because we see that the gold is appreciating on a regular basis. So it's always going to find short of whatever you're going to get today. So there is recycling happening, yes, but not only booking profits and exiting.
And Mr. Popley, the Indian consumer, of course, has now become very, very global. So they do travel abroad. Dubai used to be one destination earlier to go and get, your gold. So what's happening over there?
Of course, there's a good season there also. There are a lot of Indian expats sitting there and buying jewelry. However, that is no more lucrative scenario for the Indian consumer sitting here, where they would aspire to buy jewelry overseas. That's not the scenario anymore. The price differential is very negligible for someone to actually go out and buy jewelry elsewhere. So the Indian consumer sitting in India is buying in India itself. And of course, the expats sitting in Dubai are also celebrating Diwali there.
All right. Mr. Kedia, you know, a lot of people who are watching this evening, their thought is going to be, so if I do get into it now, or I've been in it for a while, what should be the holding period that I'm looking at? So any, you know, advice on that one?
Talking about gold first, we have already seen a very great rally of almost $1,000 in international. Last year, silver was around, I think, 54, 55,000, and today we are 1 lakh. That is almost rally very well. But still, we expect steam would be there. No doubt, 2025 is going to be a very volatile period. But I think if you are buying a silver, I am still expecting silver can test 1.5, 1.8, but you have to buy for next couple of years, at least 2 years from here. And gold also, I think it's very going with a de-dollarization, like Mehta told about the BRICS is also looking for a new currency. No confirmation yet till not yet, but geopolitical tension. So I think for next couple of years, if somebody buys gold and silver both, I still expect double-digit return would be there.
Right, absolutely. This for silver, of course, there's also domestic demand that still continues, Mr. Kedia. So that should also perhaps be one of the driving factors. So what's your sense on that?
Yes, silver, whenever you want to track silver, there is a great tool called gold-silver ratio. Generally, in last 50 years, we have never seen gold-silver ratio move between 30 to, let's say, 90. In the month of April, May, it was closer to 90, and now it's very close to 80. Still, there is a scope that we can see a level like 70, 72, which suggests silver will outperform. Already, we have seen the imports on domestic market, or even China is importing very well with the industrial use, investment use. I'm more bullish on silver. Maybe for next couple of years, prices could double from here. Also, it's a very already we are on a lifetime high, and we are talking about doubling from here. But frankly, looking to the investment, looking to the industrial demand, and looking to the ratio, I'm more bullish on silver. Maybe doubling from here in next couple of years, possible for silver.
Right, Mr. Mehta, to you next. So, you know, what should the ideal holding period be looking like in terms of ETFs? Of course, you know, the gold bonds right now seem to have, you know, the government hasn't really come very clear after the budget on what it intends to do over there. But what would your advice to people who are watching this show right now be?
If you are investing in gold, hold it for 7 to 8 years. And if you are investing in silver, hold it for at least 10 years. And like Mr. Ajay Kedia, I'm also very bullish on both gold and silver. In my opinion, the silver can outperform, and we can see silver maybe $60 in another 2 years or 2.5 years. And as I said, gold $3,250 in international market in another 18 months. But in the long run, see, we'll have to see the history of Indian gold prices and silver prices. Historically, about 15 years back, the gold was only available for 11,000 rupees. Today it is 77,000. So it has gone 7 times in last 14 years, 15 years. Can it go 7 times higher in next another 15 years? So my take would be stay invested for at least 7 to 8 years.
All right. So if you have the holding power, you would say you should stay invested. Mr. Mehta, I also wanted to understand from you, how do you see this, you know, in the short term, given what we are seeing in the US right now? Because of the elections that are just around the corner, there's a lot of uncertainty that we're going to see in equities now. So do you think that there will be a lot of people who are perhaps looking at gold and silver being a better investment option than equity?
Well, definitely, though I'm not the expert on equity, but we have seen this trend whenever the stock market is down and the major fund just take their money out of the equity market, then they keep investing in gold. But see, the gold prices will not depend on those fund houses, but rather gold prices would more be dependent on how the US economy performs, how do they deal with their 36 trillion debt, and what happens after US election. That is very, very important for the gold prices.
Yes, Mr. Kedia, what's your sense on that? Obviously, the US elections at this point in time do seem to bring about a lot of volatility. In fact, we've seen this volatility in the Indian stock markets as well. The VIX has been at highs and people are very jittery at this point on equities. So what is your sense on that?
Yeah, very much bullish on Indian equity market. Still, no doubt, weeks are high. Uncertainty prevailing nearby India is too high, but still PE around, I think, 20 to 23, which is more attractive. Domestic, like a 25,000 SIP is coming every month, which is giving a much liquidity, what we have never seen in last 20, 25 years. But one thing is important, see, whenever there is a rise in equity, there is a certain risk is also involved. And whenever there is a risk, there is a chances of good correction. And at a time, there is a study going on that if we diversify our equity little bit fund, like 18 to 20% in gold, which will help you to increase alpha and decrease beta in your portfolio. Because what will happen whenever equity market get correct, then definitely gold will be the first preference. So if you diversify your whole equity fund, hardly 18 to 20% in gold. So whenever there is a dip in equity, like what we have seen in 2020 or at the time of COVID, equity market corrected, slow and steady started, but gold rallied towards 56,000 in a span of only 3 to 4 months period. So I think this is the time when someone look to book profit in equity and diversify just 18 to 20% in gold. I think the alpha returns would be much better, and beta volatility, whatever in portfolio, will be greater reduced.
Right, Mr. Popley, obviously, as we are talking at this point in time, there will be a lot of people who will perhaps look at investment as a good holding at this point. But what have you seen in terms of customers? Are they looking at gold jewelry? Are they looking perhaps at gold bars with a higher purity? And what's the sense on other gemstones? Because as far as that is concerned, the resale isn't really too much. So what's happening over there?
So there is a consumer mix that we cater to, which is one part which is a flaunt, which is part of the jewelry business, and the other is the investment part of it. And of course, the third one who tries to see the best of both worlds. So when we look at only the flaunt and the whole design aspect of the jewelry, of course, there is gemstones, there's diamonds, there's other parts of the jewelry which comes in, and there's plain gold jewelry with it. These areas, of course, majorly depend on design and the flaunt part of the jewelry. However, there is plain gold jewelry which can be in cash, which can be taken as an investment also, and has very less as value addition for the manufacturing part of it. And that's what is taken as core as a part of a jewelry and also as investment in the back of the mind. So these things are there overall on the floor. And then there is one part where is the gold bars, which is probably 5 to 7% of the entire business, wherein consumers would like to buy smaller parts of gold bars in more affordable and viable sizes. And that's what they would take it as an investment. So that could range from even 1 gram to 100 grams, depending as to what they would like. Being Diwali, there's an area where there's an auspicious buying tokens which are required. So that's where the smaller gold bars come in as a good alternative. And when you really don't know what you buy for jewelry, then you end up buying a gold bar and participating in the auspicious buying of Diwali.
All right, Mr. Popley, Mr. Kedia and Mr. Mehta, all three of you, thank you very much for joining us. And all three of you do seem to, believe that's only going up from here, at least for the next 2 years. So let's wait and watch how that pans out. Thank you.
Thank you.
And in fact, NDTV Profit's Durva went on ground to get insights from buyers and sellers in terms of how the demand for gold is rising.
With gold prices taking off this festive season, jewellery has become heavier for the pockets of Indian consumers. However, jewellery makers have found new ways to bring customers to their store by bringing in new schemes.
Dhanteras is in the offing, and this is considered by many as an auspicious time to buy gold. However, with current prices, consumers are having second thoughts. Gold has crossed 76,000 rupees per 10 grams, and this is weighing heavy on wallets.
What it was before and now, there is a lot of change in the price, so we don't feel like buying, what of a choice. Because of the scheme, I said let it be, at least the making will be like, because I was expecting the price will rise within a month only. From lower middle class to upper middle class, I think all will be impacted. It is predicted that it will go to 80,000, 1 lakh. So if it is that way, then I'm not going to buy. I'm going to say stop.
10 grams pe it is really raised up to 25,000. So if I'm buying a 40 grams, so at least 1 lakh difference.
मैंने पिछले साल ख़रीदा था तो काफ़ी कम था. आई थिंक इट वाज 55,000 कुछ का रेट था. अभी 71 हो गया है. तो पिछले साल जो मेरी स्कीम चालू रहती है हमेशा.
Some customers are pre-booking as there are no signs of gold prices cooling off. Schemes and discounts, though, are helping lure in customers.
Compared to last Diwali, there is a 25% increase in gold rate because this geopolitical tensions happening in Middle East, and also a lot of central banks in various countries are buying gold. So that is the reason for the increase in gold price as of now.
For most Indians, buying gold is not just a tradition but also an investment. Festivals are incomplete without jewelry. With the government reducing import duties on gold in this year's budget, consumers may still hope for some golden sheen this festive season.
Well, that's all we have time for on the big story this evening on NDTV Profit. Thank you very much for joining in, but do stay with us for more.